I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. Not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
We have information that King has been shot at the Lorraine. Back 10, he has been shot.
Okay, TAC 10 advising King has been shot, 604.
TAC 11, you want us to pull down?
Check TAC 11, pull down.
Okay, TAC 11. In the area?
A signal Q, a signal Q.
King has been shot.
All TAC units on the call, you are to form a ring around the Lorraine Hotel. You're to form a ring around the Lorraine Hotel. No one is to enter or leave.
Back in, we have information that the shot came from a brick building directly east across, west from the Lorraine.
Okay, TAC 10 has information. The shot was fired from a brick building directly across from the Lorraine on the east side, directly across from the Lorraine on the east side from a brick building, 606.
All units, that's all units, 150 advising all TAC units to seal this area off completely.
Gray overcast day here in Memphis as thousands of the city's Negroes gather to march in the interrupted sanitation men's demonstration.
Leading the procession, the widow of the late Dr. Martin Luther King and her 3 children, the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King's successor, Harry Belafonte, United Auto Workers President Walter Reuther, and other union leaders. The number of marches, previously estimated between 8 to 15,000 by various sources, may be closer to 30 or 40,000.
Local police have devised the tightest security measures ever imposed on the city.
Off they step now, black and white, out here to lead ahead of dream they intend to make real.
Tell me he was talking to some of his friend at Hotel Lorraine. I got to be Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, you know they were talking in front of the Hotel Lorraine. People, that's why violence taking over, and the devil got into that evil man. While Dr. King was talking, you know he didn't feel the pain. Yeah! While he was talking, you know the poor man didn't feel the pain. They tell me they don't fight. The world was all up in a flame. Dr. King was a man that could really understand. Yes, brother, Dr. King was a man, and everybody knows he could understand. You know it laid what it said. God knows I'm going to the promised land.
Does it feel like it's been 50 years?
It feels like it was yesterday.
It was April 4th, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee. Before Andrew Young was an ambassador to the world. Before Jesse Jackson became a reverend and a groundbreaking political figure. They were two young men dedicated to the cause of equality, led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it was a chilly Thursday afternoon at the Lorraine Motel.
I was talking to him, telling him he needed a coat, and he sort of raised his head to kind of test the weather, and pow!
A single shot to his chin, and King was dead. He was 39 years old. Now, a half-century later, Young and Jackson returned to the very spot where their friend and leader was assassinated.
His shoes got caught under here, and it knocked him out of his shoes.
A photographer who was staying 3 rooms down snapped this iconic image as King lay dying.
Now, we were pointing over there because the police were here. They were running over this way, and we were trying to tell them to go back that way. That's where the shot came from.
Do you think he heard the shot?
I don't think he heard the shot or felt it. I think it was a beautiful death. My first reaction was to be mad, and the second reaction was to say, well, if anybody is entitled to a reward, you have sure earned it. And, you know, take your flight to heaven.
Young went on to serve as congressman, as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and as mayor of Atlanta. Jackson continued social and political activism and ran for president twice.
Every move I made, whether it was a demonstration or running for the presidency, I always felt his spirit, and some way I touched base with him before doing it.
Jackson, now 76, and Young, 86, say King did not fear death. And even as they stand on the balcony that was once stained with King's blood, they're convinced that he will never die.
There must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why, oh why can't my dream come true? Oh why? There must be peace and understanding sometime. Strong winds of promise that will blow away the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why, oh why, oh why won't that sun appear? We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. Deep in my heart, there's a trembling question. Still I am sure that the answer's gonna come somehow. Out there in the dark, there's a beckoning candle. Oh yeah. And while I can think, while I can walk, while I can stand, while I can talk, while I can dream, oh please let my dream